Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Bonnie. Good evening, everyone. It's a real honour to be with you this evening as your guest speaker. There's many wonderful things about the YRP. You've heard a bit from Steve as to how I started in this industry, but the fact that YRP embraces members from everywhere in the industry, you've got the excellent networking and professional development program, and of course events like this really do highlight what we were missing back then when I joined the industry. Well done. Just like to echo my thanks and well done to Bonnie and all of the YRP team who make YRP happen, because we know that you do that on top of your day jobs. So a really big thank you to all of you for making YRP what it is today. So, as Steve touched on, I started my railway career at the age of 15 down in Cornwall at my local station in the days when customers used to phone up to get train times and tickets. We couldn't actually sell them a ticket, we just could tell them the train times, but it was a great job because I got to work with some absolutely fantastic people. The second year I got to work with a guy called Ken Rathbone, who taught me how to actually sell tickets, give people the right change, and how to stay the right side of the internal auditor, who was a really scary lady called Marcel from Newton Abbot. And the people were just lovely, and that was an absolutely fantastic introduction to our great railway industry. I left university with a degree, but with no job. I'd completely failed to get a graduate job, so I just went back to the job I had, selling tickets at Penzance Station. But as you've heard from Steve, I got a job then setting prices in Swindon. And I got trained how to set the fares. I did that for 3.5 years. And in those days, we had a lot of freedom. We could pretty much do what we liked. Yes, we put the prices up. We did that quite a bit. But we also brought the prices down to compete with local buses. And I just watched what we did every time, what happened to the revenue, and I learnt a lot. Sometimes I did go a bit far. One morning I woke up to hear my name being read out on the BBC News because a letter I'd written to a customer had been leaked to the media. We'd put the fares up for one particular journey by 56%, yes, 56% in one go, and I'd been a bit too honest about why we'd done that, and the customer had leaked the letter that I'd written. But my managers supported me, and that was a great lesson in leadership because they encouraged me to continue writing to customers. So it was a great lesson as to what you do if somebody in your team makes a mistake. When I was working for Stagecoach, we did loads of things. We specified new trains, we bought trains, introduced new trains, new stations, new services, re-signalling schemes. I even spent several months working out how to get double-decker trains into Waterloo, working with Railtrack and Bombardier colleagues. And I'm really a bit disappointed that we haven't got double-decker trains running into Waterloo still. But the railway has changed a lot. As you know, there have been so many positive changes to the railway industry over the years, whether that is the Channel Tunnel opening, High Speed 1, Heathrow Express getting its direct rail connections, the Jubilee Line extension, the Northern Line being extended. There's 268 new stations on the network since the day I started. And of course, most recently, the Elizabeth Line has opened and construction is ploughing ahead on HS2 and East West Rail. And all of that illustrates not only how the railway is changing, but also the scale of the opportunities that careers in rail offer. All of these things are about having an impact on society, on the economy, and on changing people's lives for the better. We've also made the railway, I believe, a much better place for the people in it to work. Those of you supporting the employee inclusion networks, whether that's Archway in Network Rail, Aspect at GWR, Together at TfL, Women in Rail, Muslims in Rail, and many more, all of you involved in those networks are doing really important work to ensure our rail industry is inclusive to everyone who works in it. And when we come to career development, we've now got excellent apprenticeship programs employing now 2,500 apprentices across the industry. Yes, we need more, but that figure's 3 times what we had before the pandemic. And credit to YRP, who together with Chartered Institute of Railway Operators and Women in Rail, for the brilliant programme of professional development courses, qualifications and mentoring you offer. And if you've been in the industry a while, I would just say to you, please do get involved in mentoring our young colleagues joining the industry, because you too are part of making the future successful. Now, all of this matters because, as Gareth said in his introduction, the railway is set to play a key role in one of the country's biggest challenges over the next 25 years, and that is decarbonisation. Next week marks the 30th anniversary of the UN Framework on Climate Change coming into force. That's been the framework under which the Paris Agreement, the Kyoto Protocols, and the COP summits have all been taking place over the past 30 years. And the UK Climate Change Committee has issued advice to the UK government saying that the way the UK economy is going to be decarbonised, in part, is going to be through getting more people travelling by train. Actually, 58% growth between 2019 and 2050. More freight on rail, more electrification of the network, and improving the efficiency of those diesel trains that are left. And to their credit, the current government's gone beyond the Change Committee's target and has actually said it wants to increase freight traffic by 75% by 2050. So this is a big challenge for us. It's a great opportunity as well. It places rail with a huge amount of purpose for one of the big challenges, the big challenge of the next 25 years. Now, 58% growth in passenger numbers might sound like an impossible challenge, but we've already done it. Oh, indeed, over 10 years, from 2005 to 2015, we achieved 58% growth, and now we've got 25 years to do so. But to achieve these goals, we must work together as one industry. Some of the schemes are dead easy, in my view. The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport has calculated just 60 miles of electrification would get the equivalent of 80 million diesel lorries off Britain's roads at a cost of £50 million. £50 million is the subsidy that was being put into our industry every day last year. It's not a lot of money. And on the East Coast Digital Programme, we're rolling out this in-cab signalling, which is cutting the carbon intensity of our signalling systems. If you have no line-side signals, you have a lot less concrete in the ground. And if you have less concrete, that's less carbon. But of course, to get 58% more people travelling by train, we've also got to attract more customers onto the railway. So we've got to be really on our game when it comes to customer service and delivering safe and punctual services. We need to be matching the best industries outside rail when it comes to customer service, and we've got to improve our service resilience. One of the things that really winds me up at the moment is when we have some severe weather and we stop running trains between Scotland and London, but the planes keep flying. That cannot be right. We've got to find a way to keep the trains running whenever the planes are flying. Now, 2 factors, of course, are going to be absolutely critical: collaboration and diversity. We need to coordinate well across our industry so that we get the most benefit from our investment in time and resources. And in this context, I applaud Trainline for the recent launch of their Project 30% Coalition, which is a mission to bring together people from tech, from rail, policymakers, NGOs, and community groups to get more people choosing rail. And as well as collaborating more, we must also work harder increasing diversity and inclusion within our industry. This is really important because we need to innovate. We need fresh ideas, and ideas come from everyone and everywhere. As we know, the world around the railway has changed. We've got Uber, Airbnb, Zoom, Tesla, and many more tech companies raising customer expectations and competing for jobs as well. So we've got to match what they're doing and ensure that we're offering careers that are as rewarding and engaging as those found everywhere else. We need ideas and innovation from inside and outside the railway to help us transform what we do. And making the railway more diverse and inclusive is absolutely critical to achieving that. So, whether you are a project manager, a station manager, an engineer, an auditor, an apprentice, an architect, whether your expertise is in data or digital or marketing or user experience design or procurement or leading people, you've all got a critical part to play in this goal and in the railway's future. You're all going to be delivering a safer, a better connected railway which works for our customers and our country. No matter where you're from, who you are, or who you work for, I urge you to be the leaders of this industry in the next 10, 20 years, in the 20s and the 30s. The railway absolutely needs your leadership to meet the country's net zero goals and to change so that we meet our needs of our future customers and of future society. It doesn't matter what I did in the past, what others have done in the past. All that's important now is what you're going to do tomorrow and in the coming weeks, months, and years. So please, after today, do challenge how this industry works. We need your crazy ideas. We need your innovation. It's great that we're celebrating all of you tonight. Please take on that challenge and let's make it happen. Thank you.